This video is not intended for children, but rather for 20-something nerds that take cartoons way too seriously and overanalyze everything. If you're younger than 13 years old, you're not supposed to be on YouTube.
Easy now, Rarity. Did you miss this?
Well, it has only been 8 months since Friendship is Magic has ended. But now it's here. My Little Pony, Pony Life. Is it another Teen Titans Go or Thunder Gets Raw? Or actually something worth watching? Let's dive in and find out. So, My Little Pony Pony Life was aired in Canada, continuing the trend of MLP content being aired first anywhere but the US. In the past I made a rule out of it to wait for the official United States release, because people like to complain about spoilers. Not that there really is that much to spoil about MLP if you ask me. But let's be honest, no one really cares about it when it comes to Pony Life. So today we'll take a look at the first 2 episodes, Princess Probz and the best of the worst. Though I suppose technically we are talking about the first 4 episodes, because they are split into 2 5-minute segments each. And that split felt kinda arbitrary, especially since looking at the synopsis for upcoming episodes, it appears like all of them are split like that. 10 minutes episodes split into 5-minute segments, even though they are telling the same story. Maybe there are episodes that truly are only 5 minutes long somewhere down the road. I obviously don't know yet, but as it is, it kinda irritates me. The only plausible explanation I can think of is that Hasbro is planning to upload the 5-minute long segments as YouTube shorts. Or maybe the show was originally intended to be a bunch of YouTube shorts and then retweeted into a TV series? Who even knows anymore? In either case, the 10-minute runtime is of course a bit of a departure from Friendship is Magic's classic 20-minute runtime. Okay, 22 minutes if you want to be precise, but you get my point. Now, I don't think that it is a problem that Pony Life episodes are generally shorter than Friendship is Magic episodes. In fact, I once made an entire video saying that Friendship is Magic episodes were maybe a bit too long, or at least some of them. And for what Pony Life is trying to do, the episode length is appropriate. Rather fast-paced, with lots of jokes and gags, it doesn't waste any time, and this gives the show some energy. Well, and I guess I also have to talk about the visual design of the show as well. It's okay. I do think that the look of Friendship is Magic is more appealing, but I have seen worse. It gets the high energy the show is going for across, and hey, Lauren Frost herself praised it. The backgrounds are vibrant and colorful, but also rather abstract, I suppose, and the idea seems to be more to have the characters pop out. If you don't like the art style, I don't blame you. Not the biggest fan myself, but I wouldn't consider it a deal breaker either. Okay, I guess now I actually have to talk about the episodes in question. Well, in Princess Probz, Pinkie Pie is preparing for her Royal Jelly Juggernaut audition.
Yes! It's just one of the recipes I'm considering for my Royal Jelly Juggernaut audition later today.
You're auditioning for the Royal Jelly Juggernaut? A Royal Jelly who to the what now?
It's a reality show. Ponyville's greatest dessert makers face off in a Jelly Battle Royale. Judged by the enigmatic ingenue of irresistible icing herself, Princess Celestia.
So yeah, they are bringing back the season 2 memes for this one. This somehow makes me feel old. Anyway, Pinkie Pie actually is doing fine, but since Pinkie Pie doesn't exactly bake clean, Twilight is going Twiliananas, trying to help her friends, which backfires and ends up with everyone but Pinkie Pie being trapped inside cake dough. And when Twilight tries to calm her down, telling her that there is no pressure, she accidentally makes Pinkie Pie nervous. Her audition almost ends in a disaster, but because her disastrous audition was entertaining and the cake she provided was delicious, she gets to advance into the next Friendship is Magic episode. Minus the part that the competition is a TV show maybe. Twilight thinks that Pinkie is doing things the wrong way, accidentally makes her nervous, but in the end she manages to win doing it her own way regardless, and Twilight realizes her mistake. That's at least how it sounds on paper. Thing is that Pinkie Pie manages to succeed despite trying to follow Twilight's advice, only to screw up all the time, and Twilight and the rest of the main 6 only show up after it's already over and Celestia is about to announce the results. Okay, let's imagine for a minute how things would probably go down in a typical episode of Friendship is Magic. Chances are that Twilight and her friends wouldn't miss out the majority of the audition because they are caught up in cake. Maybe they would be caught up in something else, or maybe they just watch Pinkie Pie. Pinkie Pie being nervous, trying to follow Twilight's advice would most likely screw up completely completely, almost losing the audition until realizing that she should just be herself, maybe after her friends encouraged her to do just that, allowing Pinkie Pie to turn things around last minute and secure the win. As you can see, the overall story and the ending would be more or less the same, but the way we get there would be rather different, and I suppose a bit more dramatic. Well, but there are of course a couple of things to keep in mind here. For one, an episode of Pony Life is shorter than your average FYM episode, so of course they need to cut some corners in the story somewhere, though I still think they could have executed it the way I described easy enough. And second, the show is more comedy oriented. The premise is intentionally left simple to make more room for jokes for better or for worse. Personally, I think there were some good ones among them, but nothing that really blew my mind. But then again, comedy is subjective. Also, why is this episode called Princess Probz? I mean, yeah, the conflict is somewhat the result of Twilight going Twily Nanas, but the plot isn't about her, so I don't get it. Fans. Or to inspire others, I suppose. Something that was already alluded to in the very beginning of the episode. In execution, this episode actually feels a bit more like your typical Friendship is Magic episodes than Princess Probz did, as Ramdash is actually facing a personal conflict and overcomes it by the end, learning a lesson in the process, unlike Pinkie Pie last episode who just kinda wins despite screwing up. It is just that the basic premise of this episode, Ramdash trying to be the worst based on a challenge, is probably a bit too silly for FYM standards, but it works well enough here. Frankly, I kinda like Dishwater Slog because he's intentionally designed to be the worst. Just watch this introduction.
Oh, so you're the Rainbow Dash. I've heard you're the best of the best. But are you the best at being the worst?
Yeah, something about this is just funny to me. Now, I could go through every single scene of these episodes and give you a bit more of an analysis, but frankly, it's not really worth it. The plot of both episodes is very straightforward and the characterization isn't very deep either, so I don't see much of a point to it. But I will say this much. At the end of the day, the characters in Pony Life still feel like the same characters we saw in Friendship is Magic. Maybe a bit exaggerated for comedic purposes, but it's not like Teen Titan Go where the characters are completely different from their original counterpart. Rainbow Dash for the most part still behaves like you would Rainbow Dash expect to behave. And the same applies to Twilight, Pinkie, Rarity, Fluttershy and AJ. And it took me until now to notice that Spike wasn't in these episodes. Weird. Well, he's in the opening of the show, so he will probably show up eventually. Though, here's some random stuff I want to address. Apparently the show has a bit of a running gag where they shut down random magic potions without knowing what they are doing, like a really careless D&D party.
Potions! Potions for everybody!
Yeah, that's a thing apparently. I mean, potions exist in Friendship is Magic, but still they are treated so casually that it is kinda weird. Makes me wonder if Sakura will appear in the show though. Also, if your D&D party starts treating potions like this, make sure that at least one of them, once in a while, has a negative effect. But even more confusing is that Fluttershy apparently has the power to shrink or grow in size at will.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself making others feel small all the time. How can you take pride in being so mediocre?
No one really comments on it, she just kinda does it, and as far as we can tell, she didn't drink a potion beforehand either, so what is the deal with that? I guess this is something Fluttershy can do now because the show is a comedy. Anyway, I guess it's a good point to wrap things up. Is My Little Pony, Pony Life the best at being worse? Hell no. From watching the first episode, it appears to me like the writers have a pretty good understanding of Friendship is Magic and its characters. While they are maybe a bit exaggerated, they still feel like the same characters, and the plot is written to accommodate their personality traits, not the other way around. As such, the conflict scene in these episodes, while obviously more on the silly side of things, comes rather natural and doesn't exactly feel forced, which frankly has been a bit of a problem in some FIM episodes. So I think the best word to describe the show is harmless. There isn't really anything to be upset about, this is clearly not meant to be a real successor to Friendship is Magic, but it serves as a fun little distraction if you're willing to give it a try. As far as I'm concerned, I will probably keep an eye on it, but don't expect me to do many videos on the show. Frankly, even if I wanted to, I doubt that I would find much to talk about. But what about you? What are your thoughts on Pony Life? Did you like it? Do you think it's a disgrace? Let me know in the comments below. I am Tricky Fox. Stay foxy.
Sly as a fox, you got me under your spell. But you know I'll never tell that I know you know so well. Sometimes you can